You know, something really strange happened to me recently. Strange in the kind of way where you pause mid scroll and ask yourself, wait, why does this matter to me right now? So, a few days ago, as the world knows, Pope Leo XIV was elected. Now, I'm not Catholic anymore. I'm not even sure I'd say I'm religious. In fact, I'm being really honest. I've spent more than a decade actively not thinking about religion, shoving it deep into that chapter is closed drawer. But when I watched the new Pope come out onto the balcony, saw the crowd erupt in cheers, the flags waving, the tears, the silence right before the announcement, it sparked something in me that I hadn't felt in years. Not nostalgia, not guilt, but curiosity. And I ended up posting a short 10-second video about it on YouTube. I wasn't expecting much. It was one of those, this moment is bigger than I expected posts. But then someone left a comment that stopped me in my tracks. They asked, why does it feel and sound like this guy is a king and the crowd is cheering to someone they put on a pedestal? At first, I didn't know what to say. It was a little jarring, to be honest. And then I let it sit. I let it really marinate. And what came to me wasn't defense or debate. It was this strange feeling of identification. You know, that question wasn't just about the Pope. It was about us, about me. So I replied very thoughtfully and I said something like, totally get what you're saying. It does come off like that. But I think what people are reacting to isn't just the man. It's what he represents. It's history, tradition, hope, maybe even the need to believe that someone out there is carrying the weight of something bigger for all of us.
In Rome, and you can see it too, the white smoke.
And the truth is, that crowd, the emotion, the reverence, it brought something back in me that I didn't expect to return. I used to be prayerful. I used to talk to God, sometimes out loud, sometimes in my head, sometimes in the quiet moments before falling asleep. But somewhere along the way, through pain, loss, disappointment, I stopped. Not totally. I stopped believing that someone was listening. Or maybe I stopped believing that I was worth being heard. I won't pretend I've sorted all of that out. Religious trauma is real, and it doesn't just vanish with a moving ceremony or a new leader. It lingers in the unanswered questions, the contradictions, the deep ache of being told that who you are somehow disqualifies you from divine love. I've carried that quietly for a very long time. But here's what I do know now. There's something about moments like this, global moments, moments that pause time just a little, that can serve as mirrors. Not to judge, not to say, look what you've lost, but to gently whisper, hey, is this something you still need? Something you're still searching for? And I think I am searching, that is. Not necessarily for religion as I once knew it, or faith as I once felt it, but for connection, for something higher, for truth, for hope. This papal election, oddly enough, became that mirror for me. Not because I want to return to my old beliefs, not because I think the church has all the answers, but because for a fleeting moment, I saw the power of collective hope. I saw people cheering, not just for a man in white robes, but for the possibility that things could change, that someone out there might carry the banner of kindness with enough strength to shift something in this weary, fractured world. And I've been learning a bit about Pope Leo XIV before he took the name. He was just a man with his own stories, struggles, family life, personal life, convictions, preferred baseball team, and something about his humility, his humanity, his quiet strength. It moved me because the world is starving for gentleness and leadership, for compassion, for someone to remind us that power doesn't have to mean domination. It can mean stewardship, service, love. And in his very first speech, Pope Leo XIV didn't preach. He didn't posture. He simply said, "Peace be with you all." And then he expanded on it. I too would like this greeting of peace to enter our hearts, to reach your families, to all people wherever they may be, to all nations, to the whole earth, peace be with you. But it was this one line that really settled in my soul. He said, "This is the peace of the risen Christ, an unarmed peace, and a disarming peace, humble and persevering." And when he said, "God loves you all, and evil will not prevail," something inside me softened. Not because I've fully returned to faith, but because I want to believe in that kind of peace, that kind of love, that kind of world. And maybe, just maybe, watching this unfold has reminded me that even if I've let go of religion, of faith, I haven't let go of wonder or reverence or the quiet desire to believe in something greater than myself. I think so many of us are walking around spiritually bruised, disillusioned, doubtful, maybe even cynical. But the desire to hope, to be seen, to matter, that doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet. And once in a while, something happens to wake it up. So maybe this papal moment was that for me. A little nudge, not a conversion, not a rededication, but a whisper. You still care. You still want to believe that kindness can win, that humanity can be for human beings. And I don't know where this is leading me. I'm not making a declaration, but I'm allowing myself to stay open to the possibility of connection, to the quiet pull of something divine. Whatever that means now, I'm allowing myself to explore without shame, to hold space for both doubt and wonder, and to redefine what faith looks for me in this season of life. Maybe that means sitting in silence more often, or walking outside and just saying, "Thank you" to the sky. Or maybe it's simply choosing to hope that leaders like Leo XIV can remind us of our shared humanity. Hope that we can soften toward each other. Hope that even in our brokenness, we still have the capacity to heal, to love, to believe in goodness again. So, if you're like me, someone who's felt faith fade into the background, someone who's been hurt or shut out, someone who's been quietly hoping for a reason to believe again, I just want to say you're not alone. You don't have to know all the answers to still be searching. You don't have to subscribe to a label to long for meaning. You just have to be honest and open and willing to admit that sometimes hope sneaks in when you least expect it. Like in a crowd, cheering, like in a stranger's question, like in a new chapter, yours and maybe the world's too. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to let me know what you think. Peace and blessings. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more.